Now, if part 2 of this trilogy has taught me anything, it's this. Don't f*** with the Ents. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. So, The Two Towers is part 2 of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it begins directly after where Fellowship of the Ring left off. However, it shows what happened after Gandalf gets taken down by the Balrog in the Mines of Moria, and what happens in this opening scene will blow your mind. He plummets down, he grabs a sword, which happens to plummeting down. He just goes right after this demon and just uses the sword to beat the living shit out of the Balrog, just taking so many hits to the head. The Balrog and Gandalf are plummeting hundreds and hundreds of feet down. This sequence is one of the best sequences in the entire film, next to the end fight sequence, which I will get to later on. It turns out that Frodo is having a nightmare of Gandalf's death. The entire crew scattered. They are no longer together. Frodo and Sam are together trying to go to Mordor. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are pretty much a trio, and they're trying to find Merry and Pippin after they have been taken hostage by the orcs. Frodo and Sam, they're trying to get to Mordor. However, they have no idea how the hell to get there, and they're pretty much lost. They're going in circles the entire time. Going back to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, Aragorn has found Merry and Pippin's tracks, and he has noticed that they have been captured, and they go after them. Now we meet a new character named Eowyn, played by Carl Urban, a writer for Rohan, bringing one of his dead comrades into the main king's room of Rohan, where we meet King Theoden, who doesn't really look like in the greatest of states. He banishes Eowyn from Rohan. So going back to Frodo and Sam, during one night of sleeping, a creature just happens to stumble across Frodo and Sam, trying to get the ring back, and that creature is Gollum. Andy Serkis as Gollum, his performance in The Two Towers, or just the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, is one of the most legendary performances ever put to screen, and his motion capture is just absolutely phenomenal. But he tries to take the ring. Frodo and Sam fight him, and they're about to kill him when Gollum says that he knows the way to Mordor. He will guide them and he will not do anything to them. Frodo believes, but Sam, however, knows that there is something not right with Gollum. So going back to Merry and Pippin, while captured by the orcs during a night, one of the orcs chops one of the other orcs' heads off, allowing Merry and Pippin time to escape until a horse supposedly kills them. Going back to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, they happen to just stumble across the riders of Rohan, telling them, have you seen these two hobbits? We just killed a bunch of orcs, and we have this little memento here. And they recognize it's Merry and Pippin. They go to investigate the area, and they've noticed that all the orcs in that area are dead. No one's been left alive. However, Aragorn has found Merry and Pippin's footprints of the hobbits. While during this raid, Merry and Pippin went to the forest of Fangoria, which is the forest of where the trees are alive. And the trees come to life. The Ents, who are some badass guys. Merry and Pippin are trying to reason with the Ent, and he says, well, I don't think you guys are what you say you are, so let's let the White Wizard deal with you. Going back to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. So Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli go into the forest of Fangoria, trying to find Merry and Pippin. While there, they stumble to the White Wizard, which they think is Saruman, but it happens to be Gandalf the White, who has come back, and he is more badass than ever in this. Alright, coming back to Frodo and Sam and Gollum. So now Gollum at this point is now just the guide to get Frodo and Sam to Mordor so they could drop the ring into Mount Doom. During this entire time, while Sam has the suspicions, every night while Sam and Frodo are asleep, Gollum has these Jekyll and Hyde-like conversations with himself. Some of my favorite parts of The Two Towers happen to be the conversations that Gollum has with himself. It's the good versus evil type of talk. But Mather's my friend. You don't have any friends. Coming back to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. After they have found Gandalf the White, now the Riders of Rohan have been banished due to the King Theoden, something supposedly wrong with them. So after Aragorn tells Gandalf what is wrong with Theoden after they have heard from Eowyn of Rohan, they go to Rohan to pretty much find out that Theoden is in control by Saruman, and Grimwald is Saruman's agent the entire time. So Gandalf comes in as disguised as Gandalf the Grey. And we all know that Saruman overpowered the Grey in Fellowship of the Ring. So he goes in and says, let him go. Saruman just says, you have no control over me, Gandalf the Grey. He reveals himself as Gandalf the White, and I don't know why, but every time I see the shot of Gandalf the White going like this, the only thing I can only think of is when Theoden goes like, ugh! He must have seen something wrong there. It's like he's revealing something. He reveals himself as Gandalf the White, just tries to take him out. Saruman just says, if I go, Theoden dies. And Gandalf the White says, you will not kill him. You did not kill me. You are not going to kill him. And he just takes him right out. Theoden's back to normal, along with Eowyn. Grimmauld goes back to Isengard, where Saruman is at. Going back to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, they decide to go to the city of Helm's Deep, which is this big city that, let's just face it, it's pretty huge. So going back to Frodo and Sam and Gollum, at this point you can tell that the ring is starting to already have its effects on Frodo, and you're really starting to tell it physically, especially when Frodo's trying to get closer to Mount Doom. He says the ring is getting heavier. Basically all of Frodo and Sam's segments are just them trying to get to Mordor, and you really see the bond between Sam and Frodo just become stronger and stronger throughout this entire thing. And it's really cool to see this friendship just getting even stronger with all the shit they're going through. Going back to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, they travel to Helm's Deep. Grimmauld pretty much tells Saruman of their plans, so in retaliation, Saruman just tells them, dude, we need to build our own army of orcs. Saruman takes down all the trees within the area and just builds this big ass gigantic army of orcs, and some pretty f***ed up orcs too. Now going back to Merry and Pippin, now if there's one thing that does drag down the film a little bit, it's with the ends, because all they really do is just tell stories the entire time, and while it's interesting, it's kind of boring at times, but then later on it gets more interesting. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, they get to Helm's Deep, even though Aragorn has a little altercation with the orcs, although he comes back. Grimmauld tells Saruman that even though they think Helm's Deep is pretty much the perfect place, he says that Helm's Deep has one weakness that they don't even know about, and it's a place in the world that if you hit that place, Helm's Deep is gonna be f***ed. But before leaving, Gandalf says, I'm gonna be leaving, but I will come back in the dawn and look to the east. Cutting back to Merry and Pippin and the Ents. The Ents tell Merry and Pippin, you guys need to return to the Shire where you live. This war is not for you and neither for us. Merry tells him, alright, let's go around Isengard. So then as the Ents go towards Isengard, they notice Saruman taking down the trees, and Ents are like, what the hell? Saruman, you The Ents get pissed off, and they're like, alright, this guy, we're going to battle. The orcs start going towards Helm's Deep, and we have two amazing battle sequences going at toe-to-toe. One for Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli at Helm's Deep, where things are going well until one of the orcs blows a hole in the well. Things are starting to get less hopeful for the guys, as orcs are just breaking in. When all hope seems lost, dawn finally comes in, and basically Aragorn sees the sunlight, or the dawn, looking to the east, and we see Gandalf the White coming right back. And with him are the Riders of Rohan, and they're up top of this big hill. All the orcs are looking at them, and you're just like, oh my god. And they start charging right down. It seems like they're about to get killed because the orcs have their spears pointed at them. However, the sun just happens to blind them, and they just charge right in and take out everything. The battle is won in Helm's Deep, and the Ents just kick ass at Isengard. They pretty much beat Saruman's army, and Saruman's like, whoa, shit. Those two battles are won, but the battle for Middle-earth has not been won yet. With Frodo and Sam, they are captured by Faramir, who is Boromir's brother. Gollum gets captured. A Nazgul attacks the city. They get out alive after Faramir tells them, go. And one of the soldiers tells him, you know your father's gonna hate you for this. My father hates me already. Sam tells Gollum, no hard feelings, right? Right near the end of the film, this is where you see Gollum just snap. Gollum goes ahead, way ahead of Frodo and Sam, and has another one of those Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde conversations with himself. See? See what they do to you? They got you beaten, they got you captured. See what I mean by no friends? I'm your friend, not those guys. Come back to me and we'll get the ring for ourselves. Smeagol just goes all the way into his darker side, and he only asks Smeagol just to be undercover with Frodo and Sam. Ultimately, now he just wants the ring again for himself. To the Two Towers is an awesome sequel to Fellowship of the Ring. However, it is somewhat dragged down in terms of pacing by the end scene, but that does not overshadow the fact that Two Towers is still an awesome sequel. And yes, just like Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers gets a 5 out of 5 stars. So comment and let me know below of what your favorite sequel is to a movie. And I will see you guys next time.
Seriously, do it. Do it. Do it.